The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar. We're excited to present to you today about Dynamics 365 Field Service and Remote Assist for Mobile and HoloLens. Today's speaker is Jennifer Franchi, the Director of Connected Field Service Solutions here at MCA Connect. She's very experienced. She has over 40 successful Microsoft CRM implementations. She's got 12 years of experience with consulting and then 15 plus years of CRM experience. So we're excited for her to present to you guys today and hope it's beneficial. So Jennifer, I'm going to give it off or hand it off to you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Brittany. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yep, perfect. Well, thank you for joining us today for the Dynamics 365 Remote Assist webinar. My name is Jennifer Franchi. I will be taking you on a tour of not only the remote assist options for your mobile workforce, but I'll be also giving you a quick flavor of what's coming down with Dynamics 365 guides. Our agenda for the next 30 minutes will include an overview of the remote assist product, some sample use cases, and I will also want to provide a bit of a lexicon on some of the terminology we'll be using today. So with that, let's get started. Now, normally I would start off with a funny joke or an interesting anecdote, but let's face it, we've entered a completely different phase with this new pandemic, and it's not only affecting our day-to-day lives, but if you're on this webinar, it's most likely impacting your business. The average field service provider receives on average 84,000 customer service cases per month, with over 40% requiring an in-person on-site technician to resolve. On top of that, 60% of those incidents usually require a spare part to be delivered to that customer's site. Delivering this type of critical on-site service has become incredibly more challenging. With the travel bans that have been implemented, customers have closed their facilities to visitors and non-essential personnel, which has limited field service access to the equipment. Not to mention the delays in cross-border transportation, the lack of air freight capability, and delays in ocean transport. We will no doubt create spare parts and supply chain issues. Field service organizations were recently surveyed as part of TSIA as a result of COVID-19, and of the surveyed organizations, 21% of those companies have stopped deploying field service engineers on site completely, with 67% continuing to operate, but with significant restrictions. We feel that Microsoft has solutions to help companies like yours overcome these roadblocks, and that's what we'll be showing you today. But first of all, I want to make sure that we're all using the same nomenclature. So I'm going to spend a few minutes on some of the common terms you'll hear in this demo. For example, what is mixed reality? You hear mixed reality, you hear augmented reality. Basically, it's a blending of the physical world with the digital world. So mixed reality physically anchors holographic images, data, text, and other digital information onto the physical world and enables you to interact with those holograms. And what is a hologram? It's basically an object made of light and sound that will appear in the world around you as if they were real objects. They respond to your gaze, to your gestures, and to your voice commands. And when I talk about gaze and gestures and voice commands, I'm talking about the HoloLens. And these can interact with the real world surfaces around you. So when I put on the HoloLens, you'll be able to see not only the 3D holograms, but you'll also just be able to see how they will interact with me. Lastly, what is spatial anchoring? Well, when a technician or a remote collaborator makes drawings or add arrows or annotations, these are anchored in the physical world and will actually stay in place as the remote user moves around the room. And this is a perfect example. It looks like there's just two people in a field looking to have a lightsaber fight, and then you can actually pull in stormtroopers. I think this is like the coolest thing. I had to include this slide. Pardon my my geek coming out, my inner geek. Well, let's get to some good remote assist use cases. The most obvious ones, obviously, maintenance and repair of on-site equipment. We want to empower these technicians to solve problems faster the first time. So by using remote assist either on the HoloLens or on a mobile phone or a tablet, these technicians can receive guidance from remote collaborators. Also, another good use case is remote inspections. So allowing those on-site inspectors to collaborate with remote inspectors. So you have more of a team inspection happening within remote assist. And this can help evaluate, document things like assets and asset quality. And lastly, knowledge sharing and training. With remote assist, you can document the repairs by taking snapshots, video, and share them with the rest of your organization. There are a lot of other use cases that I'm not including here. Perhaps if you're on a design team or you're a manufacturer, when you're going through those product development phases, sometimes it's difficult to put all of those bodies in seats, especially with what's going on in today's world. So this would be an excellent example of having a remote assist session for those design sessions. So why use remote assist? Aside from all of those other examples I've given you, well, it allows for social distancing. So with remote assist, you can properly perform your equipment maintenance without exposure to viruses, chemicals, and other workplace hazards. It makes it fast and easy to get a second opinion. Technician generalists can consult with specialists in real time to troubleshoot equipment repair. It stretches your expert resources, so cutting out travel time, experts can work on more projects in a day, which is especially helpful in geographically remote locations. It will cut costs, obviously, no air travel, no hotel, no transit time. It can be reused for training. So as I mentioned, you'll see it in real time shortly in the first part of our demo. We're going to have some annotated snapshots and videos, and you can use those to cross-train and onboard technicians. It'll obviously speed up resolution time. It reduces disputes. So again, with those remote assisted recordings, these can be marked up and attached to the work order and the asset to show proof of performance. Also improving asset tracking and reducing DSO. I could go on and on and on, but these are just some of the benefits of remote assist. So in today's scenario, I'm talking about remote assist as it relates to field service. It doesn't mean that you need to have field service implemented to use remote assist. It is standalone. What I personally love about remote assist is the many ways you can actually tag those artifacts that you're using to the field service ticket of the technician. So in the screenshot I'm showing here, we're looking at the Dynamics 365 field service mobile app. So for technicians on site, they're looking at their bookings, their agenda for the day, bringing up that work order. But we have something here which is super cool, and it's called a deep link. So you'll see on the far right where it says remote assist. So from the exact work order, you can go in and remote assist to the experts. And this isn't the only way that a field service technician can access remote assist. When you're on the HoloLens and you're bringing up that primary menu to click on remote assist, you have your dynamic screen next to you as well. It will actually bring up the experts, i.e. the support contacts on that field service ticket. So you will have a menu of experts who know that asset, who've worked with that asset, and who have been determined to be experts for that client. So all of that is included on the HoloLens when you're opening it up through that. What you're seeing right now is through the mobile app. So I'm not going to go, this is a bit of a busy slide, but basically I wanted to cover the device requirements. So again, we're going to be taking a look at two different scenarios. Method one, remote assist with a mobile device, that being a phone or a tablet. What does the user need? Basically, a remote assist call between a remote user, it's between a remote user and a Microsoft Teams user. So your expert is on a desktop, probably in their home office. They do not need a remote assist license. It is the remote assist user on site who would need that license. The experts are just using their existing Teams licenses. And the remote assist is available also on the HoloLens. version 1, version 2, and on other qualifying Android and iOS mobile devices. And when I talk about those qualifying Android and iOS mobile devices, I'm talking about something called R-Core. So not to go down the rabbit hole too much on the technical, but AR, that's the augmented reality core. That is a feature in most smartphones today. With the older models, you can still use remote assist, but a lot of those annotations will appear in 2D. For the Microsoft Teams expert, they need to be running Windows 10, and you need to have at least a bandwidth of 1.5 megabytes. And again, as I mentioned here on the bottom, field service is not a prerequisite for using remote assist. So the second method is with the HoloLens. This is a quick snapshot of the latest version of HoloLens coming out. We're very excited about. This should be out the first, if not the second week of July. And some exciting changes to the HoloLens, which I'm excited about, is the field of view is expanded, and we also have a 5G dongle that will be included with the HoloLens. So if that's something that your company is looking at acquiring for your workforce, we'd love to talk to you about that and help you get set up. So with the HoloLens, this would be a scenario for group calling. So when we talked about that one scenario around having experts in the room and experts in other geographical locations, this would be a perfect example of group calling, whether that's for an inspection or any other type of remote session. And you can have with group calling, you can have up to 50 experts on this call, all having the ability to annotate in real time. Lastly, I wanted to talk a little bit about Dynamics 365 guides. I know that wasn't officially on the agenda, but it's something I'm very excited about. Again, as field service workers, after workers have the chance to use the guide, managers can actually measure these metrics on dashboards, which I will show you. But basically, Guides is a mixed reality application that's enabling your workers to learn while they accomplish their tasks using the HoloLens. So it's heads up, it's hands-free, so they can actually perform the tasks. So what you see here on the screen are step-by-step holographic instruction cards. And you'll see on the bottom screen with the dotted line and the arrow, these are actually moving in real time. And as that worker is moving around the room and around that object, these cards are sliding in real time to her gaze. So wherever she's moving to, they stay in line with where her head is positioned. So these cards are visually tethered to specific work areas to show workers what needs to be done and where. And again, this is just another way that they can get their job done faster and with fewer errors. And what's fantastic about this is one thing to be able to have the process nailed down, but we always want to analyze the data. And in this case, is the guide getting used? And can we track how long it's taking that resource to perform each specific task? So here in the bottom section, how long did each task or step take? This is very, very smart because it actually links to Dynamics Field Service tasks. So when you're in that work order, when you're in that booking, and that field technician is checking all the boxes for all the tasks they need to do, there might be one of these tethered cards associated to that task. And in that actual model, you actually put in, the technician will put in how long it takes for them to complete that task to move on to the next one. So it's one thing to be able to surface that data for the managers who are not on site, but it's another thing to see how long that's taking as it relates to the guide and these tethered cards that the resource is using. So after the workers have had the chance to use this guide for a while, these dashboards will just populate with that data. So for example, which step of a guide takes the most amount of time? How long does it take to run the guide? You can see that filter on the far left side, seeing that runtime. So this is a process time tracking report, and it's giving us a view of usage for a single guide. So in this case, we're looking at demo guide 1 in that top dropdown. So the format of this is actually leveraging Microsoft Power BI reports to provide these usage statistics and the time tracking information for all steps of the guide. So these reports can provide metrics for operator performance and help you identify opportunities for process optimization. So with that, let's get right into the demo. I know we're running at 12:17. We did put one of these demos in video, but I am going to show you the live version for the mobile app right now with the help of Kelsey, our Director of Marketing. I am going to switch over to my phone and I'm going to start a remote session. Brittany, can you confirm if you can see my power mirror?
I can, yep.
Perfect. So I am on my own phone. I'm not using a tablet today, I'm using an iPhone. And I'm just going to open up that Remote Assist app. As you can see here, I have my recent contacts. And I know that I need to speak to Kelsey about this specific stationary bike I'm about to repair. But again, keep in mind that one screenshot that I showed you, the deep linking from the work order, that is another seamless way for a field service technician to automatically get into a remote session. I'm going to click on Kelsey because I know she is a great resource to help me fix this stationary bike I'm about to perform a repair on. Hello, Kelsey. Can you see my bike in the view? Perfect. I'm just going to take a quick screenshot of that. Excellent. So, just giving you a good idea as to the range of motion. I'm now going to make a quick screenshot again. I'm making an annotation as to what I believe the issue is. So you have a toolbar at the top. And this goes for the HoloLens as well. You can create circles, you can draw. In this case, I'm just going to place an arrow to the area that I believe is the issue. So I think it's the tension knob. So now, Kelsey, you are my stationary bike expert on the phone. Am I correct? I've given you all of the diagnostics on this. This is where I think the issue is. Do you concur?
So, Jennifer, what I'm seeing is an issue is here instead.
I see. All right. Well, actually, that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to take a quick screenshot of this as well, so I know what I'm doing before I start that repair. And one more thing I want to bring to mind here. When we talked about spatial anchoring, we talked about how these 3D models will stay in the space regardless of where I move. So you'll see, especially around Kelsey's flywheel drawings, that these stay anchored. And one last very cool feature is that I can record this. So for examples where you want to make sure from a legal perspective that this was repaired properly, or has something to do with tracking that asset, then you have the option of video report, and this automatically gets uploaded to Microsoft Stream. And with all of these artifacts, we can post these to the actual work order and assets at the conclusion of the remote session as well. So with that, Kelsey, I'm going to hang up. Thank you for your expertise. And you'll notice here, it's going to prompt me if I want to post this to a work order. And I will say yes. And it knows that I have 2 work orders today. It's actually looking up into my field service agenda, and I can easily select which job I want to post this to. So the video, the actual custom activity of that remote session will post to that booking, to that work order as well. So if you're billing for that time, that's another very important feature to note. So I'm going to stop screen sharing. And let's take a look at the time. We have it at 12:22. Now we did do the HoloLens demo by video. I understand that there may be an audio issue, but I'm going to present this in its raw form, and I will walk you through what you are looking at. So bear with me while I pull that screen up. So you might not be able to hear that, but what we're looking at are my 2 hologram pets that I keep in the corner. That's Ben and Jerry. And you can also see another 3D hologram for MCA Connect. And I'm just talking about how I'm running this webinar from my home office. And this is my environment. So I have pinned a variety of 3D holograms. And I have various tiles up as well. So in that top left, you saw the 3D viewer where I can post more holograms. But the most important thing I'm concerned with is this field service mobile view. So again, as the technician, I will want to have that up into my HoloLens so I know what the repair is about, what are those service tasks that I need to perform. And in this case, I'm just going to pause this. So in this case, I am there to repair a bike, and I'm about to start that remote assist session with Brittany. So in the first case, we did this by mobile phone. Well, from the HoloLens, what you're seeing in the middle of that screen there is the icon for the remote assist on HoloLens. So I'm going to switch over to that HoloLens remote session. And I believe the audio, I'm hoping the audio is working on this one, but if not, I can walk you through this as well. Bear with me while I pull that into the screen. Again, bear with me as I pull this into the view. So you'll notice that this is on Microsoft Stream. Again, when we go to record video from Remote Assist, it automatically gets uploaded to that Teams session and also through Microsoft Stream. So I'm going to go ahead and mute this and walk you through it. So I'm in the middle of a remote session with Brittany, and we are doing basically the same type of diagnosis that we were doing with Kelsey on the phone. I've annotated a few arrows here, again, assuming that the issue was with that tension wheel. And Brittany now is annotating, nope, she believes it is a brake issue. Now, what's different here is that Brittany is actually going to provide me a manual. She's sending me a PDF that I am actually going to post, and it's just going to become a separate tile up in the far left-hand corner. So while you're running remote assist sessions, you can be running video at the same time and in a separate window session on the same HoloLens screen, or you can have PDFs up, etc. And you can see here the successful receipt of that manual. And what I'm doing here is I'm taking a snapshot of those annotations. And again, all of that gets automatically posted to the work order and to the Teams session as well. So I know it's 12:26. We have 4 minutes left for questions. Brittany, shall I pass it off to you?
As of right now, there are no questions. So if you just want to keep going, I think that'd be good.
Excellent. So currently, Microsoft is offering a free trial for Remote Assist. So if you have an MCA engagement manager that's currently working with you, please feel free to get in contact with them. And just to recap what you saw today, this is just a very, very basic rudimentary understanding of what is augmented reality and what Remote Assist how it can help you either with, by a tablet or from HoloLens. What we prefer to do actually is more of a one-on-one demo where it's hands-on. So that would hopefully be the next step if you are interested. We would love to understand more about your use cases and perhaps customize a live demo for you. This is my contact information, and I'm sure you have Whitney's as well as part of this session. And again, if there's any other questions, I would love to be able to answer them.
So we do have one, Jennifer. This question says, is the multi-person remote assist calling only available via the full license, or can it be tested via the trial?
Sorry, can you repeat the first part of that question?
Yeah, so is the multi-person, so the group calling remote assist functionality only available for the full license, or can it be tested during the trial?
I believe it can be tested during the trial.
Okay.
What I believe is not included in the trial is if you have third-party operators that might need a remote assist. So this would include contractors who are not under your federated account, who would be considered a secondary, if not a third-party service provider. That would not be included because that gets into kind of multi-tenancy. But in terms of the trial, I believe that is open on both sides. Now, keep in mind that if you are using a mobile device, that is one-to-one. So that is currently one remote user to one technician. You can bring in a few more, but I believe there's a restriction on the annotations there.
Okay. So that was, no more questions have come through. So I think, if you had anything else, Jennifer, I think we're good to go.
Wonderful. Well, I hope to hear from some of you soon. Again, I would love to learn more about your business and see if we can customize a lot of your scenarios leveraging these tools. Like I said, Microsoft is offering that free trial. Let's get you started.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Jennifer.
Thank you.